Thank you, President Dick. Let me call on Sylvia Bonta, who will be giving us our opening remarks and to share with us why we are here today. How about a big round of applause?
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I am Cynthia Bonta, and I'm very happy with Philippine National Day Association. I, along with my board of directors, are very happy to join you this year because it's a very special year, not only for all of us in the Filipino Fiesta, celebrating the great Delano Great Strike of 1965 and the victories that were attained in that strike, but also the 25th anniversary of PNDA in terms of their first project, which was the Outstanding Filipino Youth Awards. So no better way can we think of celebrating that but by joining a community-wide event like the Filipino Fiesta. I congratulate you for 40 years of successful years of celebration and uniting the Filipinos in Sacramento and vicinity. So today, I'm also very happy to be attending this with a Dumaguete delegation straight from the Philippines. They arrived on June 4th, Thursday, and we have been going through a series of very meaningful activities in formalizing a sister city between Alameda and Dumaguete. So today, this very moment, I can say confidently and proudly that we, the Alameda-Dumaguete Sister City Partnership exists, not only for today, but for generations to come. We will have the privilege of meeting them, but I would like to just acknowledge Mayor Manuel Tevez Sagarbarria to just say hello to you. And his wife, Maisa Sagarbarria. And may I ask the delegation, first from Dumaguete, to stand, and then the Alameda companions from the city. And we have Flor and Virginia and myself and Troy from Vallejo to be drivers. So today, all Filipinos around the world celebrate the well, wait a minute. I learned something from the Dumaguete delegation. Before I start, I want to acknowledge Chief Justice Santil Secaule, Honorable Mayor Christopher Cabalcan, Dolores Huerta. Yay! Sí se puede! She got here! Yay! And Assembly Member Rob Bonta. The Honorable Dave Tamayo, Smart Board, and the son of Larry Itliong himself, Johnny Itliong. And also Fernando Gapasin, the nephew of Philip Veracruz. I want him to come on over. Go walk in the back. There are stairs. Fernando drove all the way from Oregon because he knew this is a very, very special and important day to be with you and to honor the Filipino labor leaders of the Delano Great Strike. Now I can start properly. Today, all Filipinos around the world celebrate the 117th anniversary of Philippine independence, as the Philippine Declaration of Independence was enacted on June 12, 1898 in Kawit, Cavite, when the Filipino people proclaimed sovereignty from Spain's colonial rule, winning the Philippine Revolution. On that same day, the first republic in Asia was established as the Republic of the Philippines, with Emilio Aguinaldo as president, and the Philippine flag and national anthem were officially consecrated and honored. However, the hard-won Philippine freedom was short-lived, with the outbreak of the expansionist Spanish-American War ending with the 1898 Treaty of Paris, and Spain ceded the Philippines to the United States. In defense of their freedom, the Filipino people resisted U.S. domination by waging the Philippine-American War. Today, there are 3.4 million people of Filipino descent in the U.S. 1.5 million of them are in California and still growing. As United States citizens and residents, we also enjoy the truth that all men are created equal and that we have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This includes the rights to freedom of speech and assembly. And these were the freedoms that were asserted by the Filipino-American workers side by side with the Mexican farm workers and other ethnic groups way back in 1965 until 1970, where they persevered and persevered until they won a contract from the Delano growers, 26 of them. 26 Delano grape growers and representing 42% of California table grapes. This indeed is a movement that sparked ongoing movements for democracy in this country. And this led to the 1975 passing of the California Agricultural Labor Relations Act, a very important historical juncture because now agricultural workers are unionized and have the rights to collective bargaining. So celebrate your freedoms and be challenged, as Dolores Huerta said when she received the Medal of Honor for Freedom. She said, assert your freedom to change the world for peace and prosperity, organize, and bring social justice for eternity. Thank you.
Okay, now let me please introduce the Honorable Christopher Cabaldon, Mayor of the City of West Sacramento, as he delivers his 2-minute tribute to the Delano grape strike in the Manila.
Welcome to the Fiesta. I'm so excited to be here. This Fiesta is a party, and we're going to have one today because we have a lot to celebrate. And this tribute to our heritage, to our history, to the Filipino farm workers and labor leaders is a reason to celebrate. You know, I was born the year of the Delano grape strike. My grandfather came to the United States from the Philippines at the same exact time as Larry Dillon. They were born at the same time in the Philippines. My grandfather also worked in the fields here. And their stories are our stories. They are the stories of our history, of our community, of our accomplishment, and of our achievement. You know, for much of my generation, we talked about how we didn't have any Filipino role models in politics and in government in this country. And how we needed to fight, we needed to come up with something because there were just no role models out there. But you know what? Now I'm on a stage with the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court. I'm on the the stage is one of the directors of the largest public utilities in the country. Our own Mona Pasquille has been Lieutenant Governor of California. We elected one of our own, we share with Alameda, but one of our own to the California State Legislature, Rob Bonta, who has already become perhaps one of the world's most influential Filipino-American leaders, not just here in California, but across the globe. We have role models coming out of our ears. Now we need more. But it also, what Rob has done in the legislature is to help to tell the story of our heritage and our people. The forgotten story that Dick talked about, that even so many of us were unaware of, the details and the power that we already had. And when we talked about how in our community sometimes it's difficult to become activists, to really organize and to fight and to challenge authority and to make change happen, when in our blood, from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and before, we have been fighting and winning and leading struggles just like this. That's right, Dick. So when the grape strike began in 1965 with the Agricultural Workers Organizing Committee, led by Filipino Americans, led by Larry Leong and Phil de la Veracruz, but also ordinary Filipino just like us, like every one of us in this fiesta, were part of that to make it happen. We recognize our heroes, we recognize the leaders, because they are markers of what is in each of us and the accomplishments that each of us have contributed to that movement. Because without everyday Filipino farm workers saying, I will give up my job and my wages today and tomorrow and the next day and the next week, and I will struggle and sacrifice in order to win, those victories would not have been won. None of us would be here today. So as we acknowledge and thank and recognize those leaders, please also in your hearts and in your applause, thank every ordinary Filipino farm worker who contributed to that movement and made it possible, and who saw the chance to build bridges with Latinos and Chicanos in California to cause a change that has ever since transformed California and our civil rights. And also a real contract. This was not just about a fight for empowerment. It was about a few cents on a box of grapes, which they won. In 1970, 5 years after the strike begun and the growers finally relented, won the right to collective bargaining, to overtime, to simple things like water breaks and restroom breaks, and to Agbayani Village in Delano, which has been, ever since, has been a powerful marker and symbol and beacon for our community, but also an important service for the retired manongs of this generation. And so they won, and they inspired a whole state. Just 5 years after the Great Strike ended and the passage of the State Agriculture and Labor Relations Act, we can draw that history directly to the coming together of the Latino farm worker movement and the Filipino farm worker movement and the multi-ethnic farm worker movement to make a change. Now today, one last thing. This is going to be the last time we talk about our forgotten history, because of Assemblymember Rob Bonta, who has been carrying legislation, number 1, to declare Larry Leong Day. He's going to talk about it, so I'm not going to give up all of his information. But he's going to make sure, both in our public celebrations and in our public schools, that our history is never, ever forgotten, that our proud heritage and legacy and potential for power and for making a difference in our communities is never forgotten, whether it's in the schools or in society. And that is only because so many of you helped to create people, leaders like Rob, by nurturing leadership and activism in this community. So congratulations to PNDA on its 25th anniversary. Congratulations to the manongs who are here, who were participants in the Grape Strike, and those who supported their efforts. This is a proud day for our community, and it's the beginning of activism and change only to come. Welcome and thanks. Enjoy the fiesta.
And now let me please welcome, thank you, Mayor Christopher Cabaldon. And then let me please welcome Assemblymember Rob Bonta to the microphone to present his tribute to the manongs.